Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your decimals unit video on place value and rounding. Our targets are that I can identify place values of decimal numbers and that I can round numbers to any given place value. The reason place value is important is kind of like your name's important, okay? We don't just going around calling everybody you or it or digit. So place value is important so that we can name things and that we can have a better understanding of numbers and how big or small they are. So keep that in mind as we go forward. This is a chart that you should know. I guess some of the places that are a little bit more familiar with you, for you. Some are a little bit more abstract, I guess. Something definitely to be aware of is that here is where our decimal place goes. And there are many numbers even further to the right of a decimal and many numbers even further to the left of a number. Numbers that are to the right are smaller and numbers to the left are greater. Okay? Decimal point is read as end. So for example, if I had the number 2 here, 3, I would read that as 2 and 3/10. Okay? So these are the different places that you have. Decimal point reads as end. That separates our whole numbers, which are to the left, from our parts of numbers, which are to the right. So the ones place are our digits, generally 0 through 9. And then tens, after 9 comes 10, and then we go into a new place. After tens come 100, and we go into a new place. Then 1,000, and we go into a new place. And bear with my messiness. After thousands is 10,000s, after that is 100,000s, and after that is millions, and so on. To the right are numbers that are smaller. So I can have a tenth of a number, which is 1/10 as a fraction, which we'll get into later. 1/100th. And we can have, 99 hundredths or 75 hundredths. These have digits 0 through 9 in any of those boxes. Thousands and 10,000s. So the important part is that we know how to read and that we know how to round. So this is something you could fill in or try to have a part of your notes. When we round numbers, it gives us an estimate or an about answer. So generally you'll round when you are trying to find whole numbers, or sometimes you'll round to a nearest place value that is not a whole number, a tenths, a hundredths, etc. How we round is we identify the underlying digit, or rather, that says underlying digit, but really you identify the desired place value you'd like to go to. So I'm going to kind of write, identify the desired place value. For example, say I am doing some calculations with money, so I would like to round it to the hundredths place, okay? What you do to round is that you look at the number to the right of the place you'd like to round to. So for example, if I had 5 and 2, 3, 7. If I'm attempting to round to the hundredths place, I look to the right to the thousandths place. And what I decide is, if that number to the right is 5 or more, I raise the score. It's a nice little rhyme to help you, meaning I would round up, and this would actually be 5 and 24 hundredths, or $5.24 if it was money. If the number were 4 or less, I'd let it rest. Another rhyme, so you remember to not go there. So, for example, if it would have been 5 and 2, 3, 1, since this 1 to the right of the hundredths place is 4 or less, I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm just going to have 5 and 23 hundredths. So again, I just change all the digits to the right to zeros. In that case, this is the same as not having that there at all. So that's rounding. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So we're going to give a couple examples, and then you'll be on your way. So round the following numbers to the ones place. So again, I first identify where am I trying to go? The ones place. The ones place is here. So I look to the right, and I see that it's 9. 5 or more, raise the score. Since 9, I raise this up, and this is actually approximately 3. And you can write it like that, which is the same as just 3. This symbol really means approximately, or like we learned earlier, about, because we rounded it. It's not exact. On the next one, the ones place is here. Since I see that this is 0, well, that's 4 or less. Let it rest. This is read as 12 thousandths. 12 thousandths can be rounded to approximately just 0. When you feel ready, you're welcome to pause and try on your own. I'm going to keep going and go to the tenths place. So again, reading it's important as well. So we're trying to round the following numbers to the tenths place. So knowing that the tenths place is right here, 1 behind the decimal. So currently this is read as 32 and 145 10,000ths. Okay, so it can be a little tricky as they get longer. So what I need to do to round to the tenths place is look to the hundredths place and follow the rule. This is 4 or less, so I'm going to let it rest, and this simply rounds to approximately 32 and 0 tenths, which is just 32. The next one, again, since it's the tenths, I look at the hundredths. And since it is 5 or more, I'm going to raise the score, and 10 and 376 thousandths becomes approximately 10 and 4 tenths. So, reading it, practice reading and rounding all at once. A couple more for you to try. So again, if you are feeling ready, pause and try by yourself, and then come back and check to see if you are correct or if there were any differences in how we went about it. Otherwise, keep following along. So round the following numbers to the hundredths place. So again, use your chart when necessary, but the hundredths place, think money. We have 100 cents in a dollar. Money goes to this place, the hundredths. So 259 10,000ths is how this is read. And we are going to look then to the thousandths, since we're trying to round to the hundredths. 5 or more, raise the score. So this becomes approximately 3 hundredths. Next one, rounding to the hundredths, so look to the right. Since this is 4 or less, I'm going to let it rest. And 5 and 123 thousandths becomes approximately 5 and 12 hundredths. Last two, rounding to the thousandths place. So 3 places behind the decimal we're trying to go to. This is read as 14 and 782 10,000ths. Trying to round 2 here, so I look to the right. 2 is 4 or less. Let it rest. Stops there. It becomes approximately 14 and 78 thousandths. Last one, and this one can be a little bit tricky, so please look carefully. Watch out. So we're going to the thousandths place, so we look at the 10,000ths. Since it's 5 or more, I raise the score. Well, what number comes after 9 is 10. Well, and when we get to a 10, we round again, right? We go to the next place value. So this one is a little bit trickier, and it becomes 3 and 280 thousandths, but that 0 in the end really doesn't make a difference in our number, other than if we read it that way. So this is really 3 and 28 hundredths. So if it wanted that, you could leave the 0 there since that's the place suggested, but those are really the same number. Okay? So I hope you're feeling more confident in your reading of numbers and your rounding of numbers, and we will work on this in class, if that is what is on the docket for our class. And keep in mind, do not read the decimal point as point. So we wouldn't read this as 3.82. We would read it as 3 and 28 hundredths. Okay? So we'll see you soon, and best wishes.